Cryptozoologists research cryptids, which are creatures whose existence has yet to be confirmed or cannot be totally proven. Bigfoot, the Loch Ness Monster, the Jersey Devil, El Chupacabra, Mothman, and werewolves are just a handful of the cryptozoological animals that we can explore. But did you know that some of today's known species were originally thought to be cryptids? In this video, we'll discuss 7 animals we see as ordinary today, but were once considered myth. Number 7. The Komodo Dragon. Before 1910, every respectable scientist laughed at legends of a huge reptile on the Indonesian island of Komodo. Things changed when Lieutenant Sten van Hansbroek caught and killed one. W. Douglas Burden, an explorer, was dissatisfied with the dead specimen and resolved to come to the island to capture a living one. He returned to New York City with 2 living Komodo dragons and a few dead specimens. The dragons were displayed in the Bronx Zoo, and Marion C. Cooper was inspired to write the 1933 classic King Kong under the pretense of an island containing gargantuan life indicative of prehistoric times. Number 6 on our list, one of the more interesting, the platypus. If you didn't know what a platypus was and saw a picture of one, you would think it was a Photoshop of a duck, an otter, and a beaver thrown together. In the 18th century, naturalists, scientists, and the majority of Europeans did not believe such a creature could exist. Captain John Hunter, the second governor of New South Wales, sent a platypus pelt and sketch to European experts in 1798, shortly after he discovered one. Robert Knox, a zoologist, anatomist, ethologist, and physician, was certain the pelt was produced by an Asian taxidermist. He even persuaded botanist and naturalist George Shaw, who had his concerns about the platypus at the time, to cut the pelt with scissors to look for stitches. After several years and numerous excursions, the platypus was finally confirmed to be real. Moving on to number 5 on our list, the okapi. The okapi is a cross between a zebra, a donkey, a deer, and an antelope. It is also known as the forest giraffe, which would make a lot of sense as giraffes are its closest genetic relatives. Believing the creature to only be legend, this animal was dubbed the African unicorn by Europeans in the 18th and the 19th centuries. Of course, Africans were aware of the okapi's existence because they live in the Ituri forest in Central Africa. For many years, okapis were categorized as a cryptid since they are rarely seen and extremely difficult to locate. Sir Harry Johnston discovered an okapi skeleton and skin in 1901 and sent it to the British Museum, which, at that time, recorded it as a new species. Number 4, we have the gorilla. A Greek adventurer by the name Hanno is credited with being the first non-African to see a gorilla in the 5th century BC. However, it was not until much later that Andrew Patel, a 17th century English sailor, claimed to have seen human-like monsters in West Africa who would visit his campfire every morning when it was unattended. The gorillas remained cryptids until 1847 when gorilla bones were discovered in Liberia by Thomas Savage. He co-wrote a formal description of the new species titled Gorilla Gorilla with Harvard anatomist Jeffries Wyman. Even with evidence of lowland gorillas, the mountain gorilla was still believed to be a myth until 1902, when German captain Robert van Buren discovered one. Number 3, we have ourselves the giant squid, which is still considered a cryptid by many of today's people. Giant squids, like many other still legendary cryptids, resides in deep ocean settings that are difficult to find for humans. Researchers in Japan captured the first photographs of a huge squid in 2004, and scientists from Japan's National Science Museum managed to capture a live one at 24 feet long in 2006. Even though some individuals believe the giant squid is still a hoax, scientific data now contradicts this. Here at number 2, we have the Bondage Zoo. According to the legend of the Moni people of western Indonesia, the name Bondage Zoo means man of the forest. It is a creature resembling a human in many aspects. Like humans, legend had it that these creatures would stand on 2 legs and walked around upright. In the 1980s, a photograph of the Bondage Zoo was sent to an Australian research scientist who initially and mistakenly identified it as a young tree kangaroo. It was not until 1994 that the same scientist conducted a survey of the area where the photograph was taken, determining the animal was an entirely new and different species of the marsupial that spends most of its time on the ground and is capable of standing on 2 legs. Last on our list, but definitely not least, we have the kangaroo. When Western explorers first visited Australia, they wrote stories of bizarre and wondrous creatures of many kinds. One such story told of a creature with the head of a deer that stood upright and hopped like a frog. These tales also claim that the creature could sprout two heads, one on its shoulders and the other protruding from its stomach. In the 1770s, a dead specimen of what would become known as the kangaroo was displayed in England. Not related to deer at all, kangaroos are a species of marsupial well known for their jumping ability. We also now know that they don't sprout two heads. Rather, they carry their young in pouches on their stomach, accounting for this part of the legend. Even in the modern era, a few of these creatures are still believed to be myth by some. While we have only discussed a few of the cryptids that have been designated as official species in this video, we assure you this list is minimal at best. Cryptozoology demonstrates that there are many species in our world that we do not yet comprehend. But just because we don't understand something doesn't rule out the possibility that it exists. Earth is a lovely planet full of strange, creepy cryptids lurking in places we don't expect them to be. More cryptids such as Bigfoot, the Jersey Devil, El Chupacabra, the Orange Pendek, and others may one day have their existence established as well. We hope you enjoyed this video and found it informative and entertaining. If you did, check out one of these other videos and don't forget to click like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you next time.